Good evening, and welcome to your AI Daily Press evening podcast for March 29, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Over the past few days, we've seen significant developments in the region. Iranian attacks have targeted major industrial sites across the Gulf, resulting in damage and casualties. The United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait have all been affected, with reports of injuries and significant damage to key infrastructure. The conflict has also drawn in Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels who have launched missiles against Israel, targeting sensitive military sites. Israel has shot down 2 missiles coming from Yemen, and the group has vowed to continue such attacks. Hezbollah militants have been targeted by Israeli forces in Lebanon, leading to a significant escalation of violence. The United Nations has warned of a humanitarian crisis in Lebanon, with over 1 million people displaced and thousands fleeing their homes. In related developments, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels have launched attacks on U.S. interests in the region, while Syria has intercepted a drone strike from Iraq, targeting a U.S. pro-Iranian group. The Kurdish region's president, Nashir van Barzani, has condemned an attack on his residence. The international community is urging restraint and diplomacy to resolve the crisis. French President Emmanuel Macron has called for regional stability and emphasized the importance of preventing Iraq from being drawn into the conflict. The U.S. has announced plans to increase its military presence in the region, with more troops and equipment being deployed. The move is seen as an effort to bolster its allies and counter Iranian influence. Our thoughts are with the families of those affected by the conflict, and we hope for a peaceful resolution soon. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide you with the latest developments, and that's the way it is. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and then she'll know it's right now. I'm Barbara. In our latest series of reports, we've been following the escalating conflict in the Middle East, where tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States continue to rise. The war has now entered its 4th week, with both sides exchanging airstrikes and missile attacks. One of our recent reports highlighted the impact of the conflict on religious celebrations in Jerusalem. The city is under strict security measures, affecting the daily lives of its residents and the celebration of important holidays such as Passover, Palm Sunday, and Ramadan. We've also been reporting on the humanitarian crisis unfolding in the region, with Iranian officials stating that nearly 5,000 people have been killed since the start of the war, including over 1,500 children. The conflict has also had a significant impact on the local economy, with many businesses forced to close due to security concerns. In another development, Tehran has threatened to target U.S. university campuses in the Middle East unless Washington formally condemns recent strikes on 2 Iranian universities. Meanwhile, mediation talks are underway in Islamabad, where Middle East powers have gathered to discuss ways to bring an end to the fighting. We've spoken with experts, including Rouzbeh Parsi, an adjunct senior lecturer at Lund University in Stockholm, who shared his insights on the U.S.-Iran negotiations and potential paths forward for a resolution. As the situation continues to unfold, we urge all parties involved to prioritize diplomacy and work towards a peaceful resolution that addresses the concerns of all nations and peoples affected by this conflict. We'll continue to bring you updates on this story as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we looked at the importance of personal finance and debt management, highlighting the need for individuals to build an emergency fund to avoid falling into debt when unexpected expenses arise. By prioritizing savings and creating a budget, individuals can set themselves up for long-term financial success. In our second story, we delved into the memory chip industry, where Google's recent launch of TurboQuant has sparked concerns about the long-term demand trajectory for memory chips. Despite this, Micron Technology remains well-positioned for growth, with strong financials and analyst sentiment suggesting a potential upside of 15% to 30%. Lastly, we examined the Indian markets, where the Nifty ended its two-session rally amidst sharp cuts due to a stalemate in the Iran-US negotiations. Our technical analysts identified Acme Solar and Dalmia Bharat as potential picks for short-term gains, with possible upsides of 15% and 16% respectively. Remember, in these uncertain times, it's essential to stay informed, stay calm, and always keep a long-term perspective. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more in-depth coverage of the latest market news and expert analysis. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, we looked at the mysterious medical emergency on the International Space Station, where astronaut Finke suddenly lost his ability to speak. Despite extensive testing, the cause remains unknown, highlighting the complexities and challenges of space travel. Next, we explored the Curiosity rover's latest discoveries on Mars, uncovering never-before-seen geological wonders that suggest a more watery and hospitable environment than previously thought. This raises intriguing questions about the potential for life on the Red Planet. Lastly, we reflected on the significance of these events, reminding us of our responsibility to care for Earth and pursue scientific literacy. As we venture into the unknown, we're inspired to ask questions, seek answers, and push the boundaries of human knowledge. Join us next time as we continue to explore the wonders of space and science. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. We've got a thrilling lineup for you tonight, with updates from both college basketball and the NFL. In college hoops, March Madness is in full swing, with the NCAA tournament delivering surprises, upsets, and nail-biting finishes. The Duke Blue Devils are set to face off against the UConn Huskies in an Elite Eight showdown, while the UConn women's team looks to continue their dominance in the tournament. Shifting gears to the NFL, trade speculations are heating up, with the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and Seattle Seahawks named as potential trade partners for Cleveland Browns superstar edge rusher Myles Garrett. Each of these teams has a pressing need along their defensive edges, and acquiring Garrett could significantly impact their chances in the league. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developments and bringing you all the latest updates, analysis, and expert insights. Remember, in the world of professional football, nothing is certain until the ink dries on the contract. We'll keep you updated as these stories continue to unfold. Good night. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Coural.
Thank you, Howard. First, we looked at the importance of accessible public transportation in a story about a bus service cancellation affecting individuals with diverse needs. We emphasized the need for inclusive and equitable transport systems that cater to all members of the community. Next, we celebrated a beloved Easter tradition, the art of creating butter lambs. This story showcased the value of preserving cultural heritage and the power of human connection through traditional craftsmanship. Finally, we reported on a tragic incident in Derby, England, where a car drove into pedestrians, leaving 7 people injured. As the community navigates this challenging time, we urged everyone to approach the situation with empathy and understanding, relying on verified information and avoiding speculation. These stories remind us of the importance of community, tradition, and resilience in the face of adversity. We'll continue to follow these developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we took a look at the latest trend in fashion and social media, status signaling through travel and culture. It seems that people are trying to keep up with the Joneses by creating fake Instagram-worthy vacation pics or wearing graphic tees with trendy destinations. As Riley Newman noted, it's all about perception and satisfying our cravings for travel and escapism. Next, we shone a spotlight on comedy legend Arsenio Hall, who reflected on his iconic talk show and his journey as an author and actor. Hall expressed regret that he couldn't feature more openly gay guests on his show back in the day, but it's clear that he's still passionate about making people laugh and entertaining audiences.
Lastly, we discuss the controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling and her involvement with HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series. The issue at hand is Rowling's anti-trans comments and her financial support for organizations that work against trans rights. Fans are faced with a tough decision: support the show or boycott it altogether. We encourage respectful dialogue and will continue to monitor this story as it unfolds. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Daily Press. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David at Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Tonight we have 3 special reports that highlight the delicate balance between human activity and the natural world. Firstly, our environment segment explores the alarming changes in ecosystems due to climate change. A recent study on the effects of rising temperatures on plant life reveals a disturbing trend with potentially catastrophic consequences for biodiversity. We also look at the impact of human activities on marine ecosystems, highlighting the importance of conservation efforts and sustainable practices. In our wildlife segment, we follow the story of a stranded humpback whale in the Baltic Sea, which has wandered far from its usual migration paths. This narrative not only tugs at our heartstrings, but also underscores the challenges faced by marine life due to human impact on natural habitats. The dedicated efforts of experts and volunteers working tirelessly for the whale's rescue serve as a poignant reminder of our responsibility towards marine conservation. Lastly, we reflect on the interconnectedness of our planet's ecosystems and the urgency of conservation efforts. From reducing plastic pollution to promoting sustainable fishing practices, every action counts in preserving the delicate balance of our oceans and the creatures that call them home. We'll continue to bring you updates on these stories and explore more topics related to environmental science and wildlife conservation in future reports. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.